All right, we're back, and so now we're going to do those duple time. I've got them labeled as the duple time 2-2-1 patterns on your sheet, and here's the reason I call them that. If you take just normal real time, let's say, and down up, down up, down up, down up, and you want to add a double down in there, what that does is that puts your, if you add a single double down, that puts your next downbeat of downbeat of your next bar on an upstroke. So if you add 2 double down patterns, then that'll keep you on the downbeat. So that's why I call them the 2-2-1 patterns, because there's 2 cells of 3, 2 double down techniques, 3 plus 3 plus 2 basically. 2 double down techniques, and then always one cell of alternating just normal down up. So for the first pattern, 1 cell of 3, down, down, up. The same cell again, down, down, up, and then down, up. And then you have your down on your, and then you set up for your down on your down beat. So if you look through there, there's eight ways in 1 bar of real time, 8 eighth notes. There's 8 ways that you can arrange cells of 3 plus 3 plus 2. And so I'll run through those 8 patterns real quick. Again, I have these ordered specifically so that I can run through them all in sequence, and I'll show you how that works. But the one that you're probably going to use the most is the third one. It's da 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 da. And I've got that labeled on your sheet. This one is most common. Again, I learned this from somebody else. I didn't discover this on my own. That pattern actually comes from Eamon. Eamon showed that to me after a show one time a couple of years ago, and that's like the first step I had, first time I put my toes in the water here. So I still have my metronome set at 84, and then I'll just run through each of these patterns individually, and then I'll run through them together. So here's the first one. Second one. Third one, again, this is the one you're probably going to use the most. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. Now notice 6, 7, and 8 all start on upstrokes now, so don't get confused by that. Here's number 6. 7. And 8. And so you'll notice there on each of those last 3 patterns, if without changing the stickings, it would end on an upstroke. So if I did 8 again, it ends on an up. Now, if you wanted to get it back onto a down, at the bottom of the 8th pattern, I've got a little turnaround there. It's just a little 2-note thing. And what that does is that would allow patterns 6, 7, and 8 to all end on a downbeat. So instead of, you put the turnaround in and you have, so that you can end on a downbeat. And in reality, all that really does is it makes the second group of 4 eighth notes down, up, a normal alternating sequence. So, and again, as I said, I have these patterns in this order so that I can run them all in sequence, and so it sounds like this. I'll play each one 4 times. And so you saw me use the turnaround there at the end so that I finish on the downbeat. Again, just like the triple time stuff, the reason you would use these patterns is to change your feel, so you could go from a normal alternating. And let's say I'll move to the third one, the one that I think is probably the most common. So. And so just like the triple patterns that we did before, if you wanted to insert bars of check pattern of just the alternation between these 2-2-1 patterns, you could do it. That would be perfectly fine. I'll let you figure that out on your own. And then for patterns 6, 7, and 8, because they start on the upstrokes, all you would have to do for the setup, the turnaround setup for that is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. And then you're on the upstroke to start patterns 6, 7, and 8. And then you can use that turnaround that I provided at the end of the 8th pattern to get back onto the downside. Down, up, down. So that's the basics of the 2-2-1 pattern. The other thing that you can do with this, so far I've been playing them in pulses of 2, so da, 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 da. Again, I'm working on the third pattern there. Da, 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 da. I'm working in groups of 2. You could increase the sort of syncopation of your pattern by breaking the sticking back down into its cellular elements. So instead of 2 groups of 2, da, 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 break it back down into its cells. So da, 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 da. So here's the difference in what that would sound like. So I'll do it. I got to do it without the metronome since you can't set the metronome to do alternate stuff. So. Hopefully you guys can hear that sort of shift in the feel. To work that, the first 4 patterns on this sheet work the best at that, because they're the ones that keep all the cells sort of on the downbeat. Otherwise, cells start in upbeats in weird places, and it gets a little confusing for those 4 patterns. But if you take patterns 1 and 3, you can see that they're both, the cellular makeup of them is both 3-3-2. But because the sticking of the 3s, the double down stickings, are different, you can get 2 different feels from the same cellular pattern, 3-3-2. So the first one is down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, and the second one, or the third one, is down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. So you can get 2 kind of different feels there. And I'll play that real quick. 2, 3, Does that make sense? So the first 4 patterns there, the first 4 2-2-1 patterns there are useful for that. Those are 3-3-2 on numbers 1 and 3, and then 3-2-3 for the second and fourth patterns. I was trying to figure out if I could quickly talk about a way to do 2, 3, and 3, but not without changing a couple of the stickings. So we'll leave that for right now. I'll leave you guys with all that, and we'll go on from there. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.